LF, Revival, Pikkon, and Super Gogeta in the game. Now, even though I'm very excited about this unit, are they the best LF unit that we've gotten in a long while, or even this year alone? Absolutely not. But they are solid enough to the point where if your unique gauge is full and Super Gogeta is in and you're up against a blue unit, you're going to be dealing some serious damage against said unit. And not only that, their defensive capabilities with the revival mechanic also does help out a ton as well. So today we're going to be checking out 3 battles that I recorded off screen just to show you guys some things of what Pikkon and Super Gogeta can do. But with that being said, let's get into it.
Versus Ultra Instinct Signed Goku, and Final Form Frieza, and Android 17.
And here we are in the first battle. So I lead off with Kid Goku, and the opponent leads off with UI Signed Goku. So I throw out Ki Blast, and it forces the opponent to vanish. And now I'm just trying to figure out a way to drain the opponent's unique gauge. But sure enough, once I vanish and I follow up, they got their vanish back. So they vanished out the way, and then they throw in Goku and Frieza and land a special move. But when they did that, I threw in Janemba. So now I'm just trying to be able to get like some sort of combo started. But also, as long as I have my unique gauge active with Janemba, defensively, I'm kind of okay. Anyway, they throw in Android 17, and then we get into a clash. I win the clash, and at this point, I'm just trying to deal damage on 17 to activate his endurance. But when I finally throw Pikkon in, that's when UI Signed Goku came right back in. So at this point, I need to be able to do something to get at least UI Signed Goku out of the way. So the opponent throws out Ki Blast, I end up vanishing, then they tackle, and at this point, I could either keep Pikkon in because he does have revival, or I can take him out. So I opted to take him out and throw in Kid Goku, but at this point I still have to be very careful because the likes of UI Signed Goku's ultimate attack hits very, very hard. And I know that if it actually wiped out, you know, Kid Goku, he would die because it nullifies endurance. So when it activated, I threw in Janemba and he actually took the hit. I won't say they took the hit very well because it's UI Signed Goku, he hits pretty hard, but it was good enough. Anyway, I vanish out the way, and then the opponent ends up sidestepping after I vanish. I catch them on the sidestep, and from there, I combo a little bit with Janemba, and then I finally get Pikkon in. From there, I throw out my special move because I just need to be able to try to build damage. But afterwards, I vanish, and then from vanishing, I tap attack, the opponent vanishes, and then I throw out Rising Rush, because if there's any unit that I need to get out of the way right now, it's UI Signed Goku, because again, he can stall with the unique gauge, which can help him like try to get units back in because it wastes timer counts. It can help him get his vanish back, and I don't want to deal with any of that. So I rush him, and we ended up landing the rush. Now it's Pikkon versus Android 17. If I had Strike Arts at that moment, then I would have at least been able to catch the tackle and then follow up accordingly. But that just didn't happen because I got, I think, a special move from Blast. So the opponent, you know, followed up, and then afterwards I threw in Goku and Frieza and used Rising Rush. Now, at this point, I'm not really tripping. I could have thrown in Kid Goku if I really wanted to, but since my unique gauge was full, I just let Pikkon take the hit, because now, when Gogeta's in, I'm expecting him to go kind of crazy. So I tackle, and then I try to follow up with Strike immediately afterwards, but the opponent, they're just ready, right? And then afterwards, they throw out a special move, so that makes me take a lot of damage. I charge in with Strike, but the opponent swapped to Frieza, and then afterwards, I'm comboing with Gogeta because I vanished out the way when they followed up with Strike, and I followed up with lots of attacks, and I'm dealing like nothing but crits. So it's a ton of damage coming out all at once. Now at this point, I just got to be able to wipe out either 17 or Frieza. So we both use Strike, and in this case, I win the Strike Arts clash. So at that point, I have an opportunity to deal effective damage. So I fought with Ki Blast because it's literally all I have, and it wipes out Android 17. So at this point, in all honesty, all I really wanted to do was land LF, but Frieza's health was way too low, and then we got into another clash, and I won the clash. So at this point, I knew he's dead. So I tried to follow up with Strike just to end it, and then the opponent forfeited. So there's that. I think that was a good display of this unit can deal damage, but it seems more so that they deal damage against blue units. I mean, for obvious reasons, they're a green unit, but when it comes down to like obviously element factor disadvantage, their damage is darn near non-existent. Again, that's just my my experience with the unit. It could be different for everybody else, but it seems as if if the circumstances align for it, he can really deal some solid damage. But with that being said, on to the next battle.
Versus Super Janemba, Kid Goku, and Pikkon, and Super Gogeta.
And here we are in the second battle. So I lead off with Kid Goku, and the opponent leads off with Ultra Super Janemba. So I'm not in a bad spot because I got 3 Ki Blast cards, but I ended up being in a bad spot because the opponent ended up landing Perfect Vanish. So at this point, I could throw literally Janemba in to kind of stop the combo, or I could have thrown in Pikkon as well, just for element factor advantage, but they swapped to Kid Goku. So in this case, I was hoping that they were going to do Strike earlier, but they just kept on getting Ki Blast cards. So now Pikkon's getting comboed by Goku, and there's not really much I can do. So I throw out a Tap Blast, and then afterwards, I somehow managed to get the opponent to vanish with Pikkon in. So because of that, now that I have Kid Goku in, I can just keep on comboing and dealing effective damage against Pikkon while also nullifying cover change because I'm getting nothing but Dragon Ball cards. Then afterwards they throw in Janemba, so I throw out as much Ki Blast cards as I can, and then from there, I throw out my special move when I threw in Pikkon, but that obviously gave the opponent to actually get Kid Goku in. I could have thrown out the special move with Kid Goku, but I'm trying to utilize Pikkon, which is why I did that. So I sidestep, and they just so happen to have a special move. So because of that, my revival got activated way too early. So I have Gogeta in. He's not even ready to go yet because the unit gauge is not full. But I tackle, I force Kid Goku to vanish, and at this point, I have to be careful because I'm at a spot where I could honestly lose Gogeta too early. So I tried to like bait the opponent to attack. It didn't work. Then afterwards, I end up getting comboed. Then they threw in Janemba, and in this particular case, I would try to swap out just for like keeping Gogeta's health up, but I have element factor advantage. But then they throw in Kid Goku. So again, I could keep Gogeta in, but I know that if I do so, he's probably going to die. So I end up throwing in Kid Goku. He's taking all the hits, but at this point, I need to figure out how to end that combo. So I got lucky when I threw in Janemba because he was throwing out Ki Blast, and then from there, we throw out Strike and get into a clash. I absolutely won the clash. There was no alternatives. So I won the clash, and then I followed my combo against Kid Goku with Janemba, and then I try to call the opponent's bluff. It's either they could keep Kid Goku in and he dies, or they can throw in Pikkon, and then there's the potential chance that he will revive into Gogeta. So they opted in to throw in Pikkon. So now, all I have to do is either activate or nullify Kid Goku's endurance, then I can literally rush anybody. So Gogeta's in. I do have to be careful because he does have element factor advantage against me. But when I forced him to vanish with a tackle, Janemba came in. So afterwards, I took out Janemba, and then from there, I had Gogeta go in, and then I tried to combo as much as I could. But again, the opponent is throwing in Kid Goku. So because of that, my special move didn't do that much damage. But I popped my main ability, and I caught the opponent while they were trying to throw out Ki Blast. So I threw out my special move again, but this time it dealt enough damage to the point where it wiped out Goku because it nullified his endurance. So the opponent ends up having Gogeta in. They tackle. I only had Ki Blast cards at the time, so I couldn't even follow up even if I wanted to. And then from there, I know that I'm in a safe spot because I can get Kid Goku back in, which I did throw him in. And not only that, there's not really much the opponent can do to try to nullify his endurance as of this moment, let alone trying to use Rising Rush, because if they do, then I can throw in Kid Goku. However, right, in this particular instance, a mistake was made, right? It was input error. I was actually tapping on Kid Goku, but I tapped slightly above Kid Goku, so I missed the press, and Janemba ended up getting hit by Rising Rush. So it put me in a bad predicament. However, we still have element factor advantage against both units on the opposing side, so we're actually okay regardless. So I end up getting the opponent to vanish, and then afterwards I fought with Strike. We can see the damage that Gogeta was dealing against Janemba, but the opponent opted to sacrifice Gogeta instead, which I can understand, but again, like, Kid Goku's entirely safe for the most part, right? So, because I'm pretty sure I've already activated the opponent's unique gauge, and they already popped their main ability, so I really am not missing out on anything. So after the Rising Rush, I immediately swapped to Goku. They tackle, and then they try to follow up with Ki Blast. I followed up with Strike, and then since their unique gauge is full and I only had Strike Arts cards, literally my main ability was my last resort. So I popped it, threw it out on Janemba, and I end up landing LF. So, yeah, I think in this case, this was more so about rotating constantly with my team, but still finding a way to make things work. And not only that, we did get to see a bit of damage, you know, that Gogeta was dealing against Janemba as well near the very end, but we were able to see that damage. So it kind of goes alongside with what I said earlier. If Gogeta is up against a blue unit and his unique gauge is full, he's gonna be dealing some solid damage. But also there is that defensive pressure because since he's a revival unit and you pair him up with Kid Goku who has endurance, and then of course Janemba who can literally get anybody in if Rising Rush is activated while he's in, then you have a good offensive and defensive team on your side. But anyway, on to the final battle.
Versus Super Saiyan Future Trunks, Super Saiyan Rose, Goku Black, and Vegito Blue.
And here we are in the final battle. So I lead off with Kid Goku, and the opponent leads off with LF Super Saiyan Trunks. So at this point, I'm just trying to be able to get like a combo going because I can already tell it's going to be an annoying battle just because Trunks has endurance. So we vanished a few times. Afterwards, I end up having Pikkon in, and the opponent ends up having Rose in. But this time, I threw out my special move against Rose, and it actually dealt really good damage. But I do still know that I need to be careful just because of how Rose is constantly getting special skill cards and paralyzing the team, you know, with the special move, so it's not fun. Anyway, I banished the special move, but from there, they throw in Vegito because, again, the first time he goes in, he strips your vanish away entirely. But I have to do something quickly because Goku's getting comboed into Oblivion. So instead of throwing in Janemba, I know the opponent is going to continue with Strike, so I threw in Pikkon, and I managed to cover change with him. Then afterwards, I back off when the opponent forced me to vanish, and then I throw in Janemba after they threw in Trunks, and they followed up with Strike. So my unique gauge ended up getting activated, and I throw out my ultimate attack against Trunks, which is good, right? Because if there is one unit that I really would want to hit with my ultimate attack, it's Trunks. So I pop my special skill, and then from there, I thought the opponent was using Blast, but they had a special move. So I ended up taking it head on, but it's perfectly fine. Anyway, at this point, I need to figure out what to do because I knew Rose was going to come in. So afterwards, I throw in Pikkon, but after the opponent forced me to vanish with Pikkon, they were very, very patient with Rose. So because of that, I end up getting comboed. And at this point, I need to find a way to survive just to get Janemba in, just in case if the opponent either tries to use her main ability and then throw an ultimate attack or use Rising Rush. But luckily, they rushed while Janemba was in, and since they never used like an ultimate attack prior, I nullified attribute upgrades and buff effects. So I nullified Vegito's endurance nullification, and I threw in Kid Goku because I know he would survive the Rising Rush. So sure enough, I lost the rush, but since, you know, his buff effects were canceled, I survived the rush. So Goku is still alive, and at this point, I just need to get something going. So I tried to combo after I threw in Pikkon, but it didn't work. The opponent was patient. So they activated my revival, but my unique gauge is full, which means if Gogeta's throwing hands, he's gonna throw some hands. So I pop my special skill, and at this point, I just gotta get a combo started, but I know with how defensive the opponent is playing right now that he has a special skill. Now, in that moment with the Ki Blast, the phone was not registering my input. I was actually swiping, and it just didn't register it at all. So I ended up getting hit by the Ki Blast, and then I got comboed. So it put me in a really, really bad scenario. So I threw in Kid Goku, hoping that he'll be able to take this, because even though they're element neutral right now, again, he should be strong enough to take this ultimate attack from Rose. And sure enough, he absolutely was. And I knew the opponent was going to rush in and then try to, like, do something. So afterwards, I throw in Gogeta, and at this point, I'm in a really, really good spot because I have a special move, and I could use that to try to wipe somebody out. So I throw it out on Rose, and I deal a ton of damage. Then I pop my main ability. I would prefer to save it for Trunks, but Rose was wide open after they threw out Ki Blast. So I throw out the special move, and I completely wipe out Rose. Now, because of that, Janemba's a bit more safe. The only real unit we have to worry about concerning, you know, dealing damage to him like that would be Trunks. But I end up winning the clash against Vegito. So now I have the opportunity to wipe out Trunks. So I don't even hesitate, except my Ki gets knocked down because Trunks' unique gauge gets filled. So at this point, I just gotta find a way, somehow, some way to knock out Trunks, but they ended up having a special move. So that was not good. But I managed to vanish out the way properly enough to be able to, you know, not really worry about getting hit by Trunks and Strike Arts. So with Janemba, I tried to, you know, combo as much as I could before Vegito could get in. And then from there, I used my ultimate attack and I wipe out Trunks. Now I know for sure there is no possible way the opponent is going to beat me. So I throw in Gogeta and I immediately fall with Strike Arts, but I don't have enough cards. So I can't really keep the combo going as long as I would want for it to keep going. And since I already swapped out a Janemba, I have to try to survive this onslaught before Vegito actually goes crazy. So at this point, I have Gogeta take the hits, and then afterwards I throw in Janemba, and I know that if the opponent tries to do anything, Janemba can absolutely take the hit. So the opponent ended up just throwing out their special move, just kind of wasting it. I don't know why. And afterwards, I vanish, and then we get into a clash. I win the clash, and then from there, I fall with Janemba, and then the opponent ended up forfeiting. So yeah, again, like I said, this isn't like the greatest like LF release that we've had in a while, but he's not bad. And there are scenarios where he really does have the ability to shine, especially if it's element factor advantage and if his unique gauge is full. He can really deal some good damage, and also having the revival mechanic helps out a ton as well. And I can only imagine if you pair this unit with Revival Piccolo, because that unit not only also is a revival unit, but is also Sagas from the movies. So those two can buff each other, and then maybe you can have like the Gamma support them in the back to cover purple units, or whatever the case may be. Or if you want to run Janemba, you can do that too. But all in all though, he does pair up well with this team. But I do want to know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section below. But with that being said, I'm Ndukauba, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.